Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works for today, Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. We should get started in the next minute. We're just waiting for Dr. Davis to arrive. For those of you listening through the Zoom application, just wanted to test the audio Zoom on your end. Sefi Wiles, good morning to you. If you can hear me, if you can please unmute your microphone, just to confirm you can hear us on Zoom.
Good morning, Dr. Campos.
Morning. Can you hear us loud and clear?
I hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for confirming. At this time, for presenters, item number 1 will be presented by myself and Matt Castellanos. Item number 2 will be presented by Willis Huffman. Item 3, Shay Dung, along with Patricia Antich from the Los Angeles World Airport. Items 4, 5, and 6 will be presented by Ruben Flamingo. Item 7, Michael Cox and John Minix, along with myself. Item number 8, Brian Ramirez. Item number 9, Lance Oishi. Item 10, Albazi. Item 11, Mike Yu. Item 12, Amar Braish. Item 13, Albazi, along with Gina Liang. Item 14, Albazi, along with Rose Karagizian. Item number 15, Amy Clark. Item 16, 17, no presenter. And item number 18 will have a series of presenters from the Bureau of Engineering, Ray Sison, Bureau of Sanitation, John Pattison, Bureau of Street Lighting, Assad Al-Najjar, and from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Jessica Lopez, along with Raul Mendoza. For Bureau representatives that are on the line, thank you so much for being here this morning. Should the board have any questions for you, we will open up the audio lines through Zoom. This is for Ryan Tolles, Prashant, Sefi Wiles, and Eve Pena. Thank you all for being here this morning through Zoom. Again, we will open up the audio lines should the board have any questions for you at that time. For members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary, if you can please submit your speaker card if you're here in person in City Hall to myself. We will get started in the next minute. For members of the general public that are joining us through the Zoom application, if you can raise your hand if you'd like to provide any general public comments or commentary on any of the items on today's agenda, you can do so by raising your hand by clicking *9, or you can click the raise hand icon if you're joining us through the Zoom application. Again, this is for members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment on any of the items for today's agenda. If you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9, or click the raise hand icon if you're joining us in the chambers this morning at City Hall. You can turn in a speaker card located at the back end of the room this morning. Seeing no hands raised and all speaker cards submitted this morning, President Garcia, we do have Commissioner Davis in the room, and we have all the speakers in the room as well. I can go ahead and get started with the recording for you. Great. President Garcia, you're now in record mode.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll calling quorum. For this morning, we have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum at this time. President Garcia, we do have one speaker card under item number 8. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section, no speaker cards under general public comment as well. Again, one speaker card for item number 8, and then we also have the developer and its representative here for item number 8 as well.
Thank you for that, Dr. Campos. Given that we do not have any public comments, general public comment is now officially closed. Moving on to the first item on today's business, which is the approval of Wednesday, April 26th, approval of our minutes for Wednesday, April 26th, 2023. Is there a second to my motion?
A second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by me and a second by Vice President Villegas to approve the minutes of Wednesday, April 26th, 2023.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Welcome those that are here in person and those that are joining us via virtual platform. It's a lovely day out there, and for many of us that are celebrating Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all that are celebrating it today, and a preamp for those that celebrated it on Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there that is celebrating today's holiday. So with that, I want to start with today's first item, which is the bids. These are bids, item number 1. Bids will be received at 10 a.m. for the following public works projects: street lighting conduit only project unit 12, high voltage conversion, fiscal year 2022-2023, work order L2349458, with an estimate amount of $1,799,800 in council districts 4, 5, and 13. And this morning, we have Mr. Castellanos here with bids. Welcome, sir.
Good morning again. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. As read into the record by our President, we will open up the bids now for the street lighting conduit project. This is in Council Districts 4, 5, and 13. Commissioners, we did receive one bid for this project. The first and only bid for this project is from Servitec Electric Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,840,095 even. That's 1840095 from Servitec Electric Incorporated. President Garcia, that concludes the bid openings for this project, and we will now take a motion to accept, declare, and open these bids, or this bid.
Thank you so much, Dr. Campos. Colleagues, is there a motion to accept and adopt today's bids?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Campos, we have a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Vice President Villegas to adopt and approve item number 1.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much for that. I know that we have a pretty hefty agenda today, so bear with us. I'm gonna probably go out of order in a few, but I am gonna take item number 2 now. This is in all council district, item number 2, task order solicitation number 59, Macmillan Jacobs Associate, pre-qualified on-call consultants list, recommending the board to 1, authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Macmillan Jacobs Associates from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering services consultants list to provide construction management support services for the wastewater conveyance construction division as stated in task order 59 with a budget authority of $11 million. And this was continued from last week, May 3rd to today, and this morning we have Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Willis Huffman, Bureau of Engineering, Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division. I'm here today to present the report to issue task order number 59 to Macmillan Jacobs and Associates to provide construction management support services for the Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division with a not to exceed budget ceiling of $11 million. This report was continued from last week's hearing due to questions from the board regarding how funding is allocated, which I'll attempt to clarify. Before going into that information, just a little bit of background. This TOS was advertised via RAMP, based on a pre-qualified on-call wastewater environmental engineering services consultant list that was established in 2017. That includes 24 prime consultant firms. The primary scope of services our division receives from this task order includes scheduling, construction management, staff augmentation, and claims analysis. A detailed list of the services included in the task are listed on page 1 of the report. 4 firms responded to this solicitation, including Atkins North America, Mars Services, Parsons, and Macmillan Jacobs. Parsons later retracted their proposal due to loss of personnel. A panel from various BOE divisions participated in reviewing these proposals and ultimately decided on going with Macmillan Jacobs. Macmillan Jacobs and Associate has pledged to meet the minimum subconsultant participation goals, which are summarized in the total subconsultant participation table on page 3 of the report. In follow-up to the board's questions regarding how the task is funded, I just want to clarify that the duration of the task usually spans about 5 years, and the actual expenditures depend on the fluctuating project demands of LA Sanitation. These task orders can take up to a year to establish, which is one of the reasons why they last 5 years and have higher ceilings. Other divisions across the bureaus have recent similar contracts with similar ceilings. Although this is an $11 million ceiling, the entire $11 million is not committed or encumbered at once. Each fiscal year, individual authorizations to proceed are issued based on the remaining budget from prior issuances and projected future needs. Each fiscal year, LA-SAN identifies the specific funding account to be used since it varies over a 5-year span. In the event additional funding is not required on a given fiscal year or not available, additional authorizations to proceed under the task are not issued. So again, I'm here to ask for the board's authority to issue this task order, and welcome to any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman, for doing your due diligence from last week to now. Colleagues, any questions for Mr. Hoffman? You have 0 questions today. All right, good.
Okay.
Is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
We just wanted to see you twice, that's all. Moving on to item number 3, this is in Council District 11, street closure extension, 98th Street between Vicksburg Avenue and Avian Drive, land side access modernization program, recommending the board to, 1, approve the request to extend full closure along 98th Street between Vicksburg Avenue and Avian Drive from April 28, 2023 to September 30th, 2023. And we have Mr. Shea. Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Morning. Good morning, Board Commissioners and Board Representatives. Shay Dong with the Bureau of Engineering's LAMP Division. And okay, is that better? Okay. Good morning, Shay Dong with the Bureau of Engineering's LAMP Division. With me this morning is Patricia Antich. She's with the Department of Airports. And we're here to present item number 3, which is to extend an existing closure along 98th Street in between Vicksburg and Avian Drive. The general location is, east of LAX, north of Century Boulevard. And as I said, it is an existing closure. The closure started in January, and it is to facilitate the construction along Jetway Boulevard and some improvements along 98th Street. And we came in February to extend the closure once. And this is a second closure, and this time it is due to a utility conflict between a proposed storm drain facility and an existing 12-inch water line with DWP. So this closure, we're requesting to extend it through September. The good news is DWP has identified the material and they've started on the design for the relocation. So we believe the extended closure this time will be more than sufficient. That concludes my report, and happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Okay. Thank you, Shay, for that report, and thank you, Patricia. Welcome. You're from the Department of LAWA, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions? Vice President Villegas?
Yeah, just really quick, since we've already had 2 extensions on this, is September 30th sufficient time?
Yes. Yes, we have now identified all utility conflicts, and we have resolutions in progress. We actually hope to beat the September date, but we will definitely be done by September.
Okay. All right. And is there just the extension, I guess it was closed, it was due to expire at the end of April, and you're coming now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. So when we came in February, the motion extended the closure through the end of April. Technically there is that, today's the 10th, right, of May. But the closure has been in place since January, and there have been no complaints from the community.
No accidents.
No accidents.
So no complaints, no accidents, no incidents. We are managing the closure carefully. We inspect it daily. It happens to be in view of my office, so I look at it 8 hours a day while I'm doing other work. So there's been no incidences.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. I think I'm not speaking for Vice President Villegas, but my assumption is that you are here a little late on the closure because it was April 28th. But my understanding from your report, Shay, is that it's an ongoing closure, so it didn't make a difference.
There was
right?
no, because the closure has been in place for 4 months now.
Yeah.
By this time, motorists have already figured out alternate paths, with all the detours. There hasn't been any confusion, like I said, or like Patty said, there hasn't been any incidences. And the community, they keep all their stakeholders engaged. We have weekly the LAR call meetings, which is kind of the Lawless version of the TCTMC. And so, the community and the local stakeholders are all aware of this ongoing closure. So there's no confusion.
Understood. Any other questions? Any objections? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith? Oh, give me a second. Item number 3, forward and forthwith.
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 3 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Have a good,
Thank you.
let us know when the project's all over. Come back and update us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right, moving on to item number 4, and I believe 4, 5, and 6 can be taken together. Is that correct, Mr. Flamenco? Yes. Okay, great. I'll just read the titles of 4, 5, and 6, and then you can dive into the report. Perfect. Good morning, Mr. Flamenco. This is item number 4 in all council's districts. It's a request from the Bureau of Street Lighting. Annual assessment for street lighting maintenance and operation for 2022-2023. Los Angeles City Lighting District assessments and district frozen since 1996. Item number 5, in all council districts, annual assessment for street lighting maintenance and operation for 2022-2023, 1996-97, Z Series Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Districts of 1996-97, only assessments and district frozen since 1996. Item number 6, in all council district, annual assessment for street lighting maintenance and operation 2023, Proposition 218, confirmed street lighting maintenance assessments district, assessment districts confirmed after Proposition 218. And believe our recommendations are the same, which is adopt and forward this report and transmittals to the city clerk and city council in accordance with section 6.98 of the administrative code of the city of Los Angeles with the recommendations that, and Mr. Flamenco, you can take it from there. Thank you.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 4, 5, and 6 pertain to the annual assessments for street lighting maintenance and operation for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Confirmation of the assessments by July 31st, 2023 is necessary for the County of Los Angeles to accept and include our assessments for collection for the 2023-2024 property tax bills. We are requesting for the board to adopt these reports and ordinances of intentions and forward them forthwith to City Council. Upon adoption of these reports and ordinances of intentions, the required protest hearings may be scheduled, one protest hearing at the Board of Public Works and one protest hearing at City Council. So we will return to the board sometime in June to have the official protest hearings. Thereafter, the board and City Council may vote to confirm the assessments and adopt a final ordinance ordering that the street lighting maintenance assessments to be levied. Approval of items 4, 5, and 6 will result in assessment revenue of approximately $49,410,921 to the Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Fund for the upcoming 2023-2024 fiscal year. Notably, item 4, the Los Angeles City Lighting District, rates frozen since 1996 with no inflation index, consisting of approximately 508,348 parcels, $44,469,829. Item 5, the 1996-1997 Z-Series Lighting District, rates frozen since 1997 with no inflation index, consisting of approximately 1,611 parcels, $123,527. Item 6, the Prop 218 Confirmed Lighting District, rates unfrozen with an inflation index consisting of 39,664 parcels, $4,817,585. The individual maintenance assessments for the 39,664 parcels in item 6 are increased by 7.45%, which is the consumer price index for the Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Anaheim cities for the 2022 calendar year, as determined by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This increase is for lighting districts created post-1996, post the passage of Proposition 218. For reference, the CPI for the 2021 calendar year was 3.83%, and for the 2020 calendar year, the CPI was 1.62%. Again, we are requesting for the board to adopt these reports and ordinances of intentions and forward them forthwith to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Flamenco, for your report. Any questions, colleagues? Vice President Villegas?
Thank you, and thank you for your report. I know that these are annual assessments. Just when these items are coming, in advance, if we could get briefed on them. I've read through them, and I understand that these are going to be routine. I get that, but I wanted to see if you can provide for me just offline where the 49 million revenue that you'll be receiving from this, where those funds will go.
It goes to finance the Bureau's operations, primarily salaries, administration, engineering, research, and development, but it pays to, the assessments are collected to finance the Bureau's operations for the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, so it's nothing that it's not anything that will generate, because I understand there's a CPI increase, so there's nothing that'll generate new street lights.
The CPI is not applied to the Los Angeles City Lighting District. It's only applied to lighting districts that were created post-1996. So the gigantic lighting district has been frozen, but it still consists of over 508,000 parcels.
Okay.
And that's where the 44 million plus in assessment revenue is coming from.
I understand that. All right. If you can, I don't have a problem like moving forward with this, but I honestly just want to get briefed in advance.
Absolutely. I had sent a reminder to President Garcia and Commissioner Corson. I will do so for you as well moving forward.
I appreciate it. No, not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Any other questions? Comments? Any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move items 4, 5, and 6 forward and forthwith? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corson to move items 4, 5, give me a second, I have them in different pages, 4, 5, and 6 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Again, this is for 4, 5, and 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Flamenco.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. I thought I was going to go out of order and trying to take short ones, but I think we're just going to go in order. It's moving pretty fast. All right, moving on to item number 7. This is an update from in Council District 9 from Bureau of Street Services and also from our board. Emergency nuisance abatement of vacant lot 116 East 59th Place, recommending the board to approve the Bureau of Street Services request to clean, a nuisance property located at 116 East 59th Place under an emergency declaration. And 2, request the city attorney to review the emergency request and approve as to form and legality to the city clerk. This has been continued a couple times, but mostly it is because we want to hear updates and want to make sure that this is moving forward without any delays. So thank you so much, sir. I know Dr. Campos has an update, and also yourself, Mr. Cox.
Mr. Cox is right there.
Oh, there you
off
are.
of
Oh,
John
there you
Lynn.
are, sir.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay,
Yes, sir. Okay.
come on.
Okay, basically, you know this has been going on a while. I guess Dr. Campos can get it started.
Since February.
Since February.
Yeah, absolutely. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Commissioners, we've been in contact with the property owner's son, and they have indicated that they are willing to abate the property, the nuisance, and clean up the property. They're asking for a couple of things that the city can work with them. One is to provide safety measures on site on the day of the cleanup, such as LAPD or having our inspectors out on site. We're also working with the council district to coordinate those efforts. We did agree that we would loop back with the property owner's son in regards to whether that can be done or not. It looks very feasible on our end. We are looking at setting a date sometime in late May or early June to actually do the abatement. It'll be a one-day cleanup, approximately 4 to 6 hours is what we anticipate that the abatement will take to do the entire cleanup. In addition to that, we understand that there's approximately 3 to 4 vehicles that need to be removed, so we are working with the Department of Transportation in terms of how we gain access to the property, where we can actually move the vehicles. If the property owner's son can actually move those vehicles themselves, then that would be the preferred method. In short, we believe we've made a lot of strides on this nuisance abatement in regards to abating it. The property owner's son has agreed to do this. They are looking at mobilizing. They just want us to coordinate with them for security. And then in addition to that, there are individuals that are unhoused on the property. So we are working with LASA and also making sure that they are out there providing the services so that on the day of the cleanup, that we can move those individuals to the sites that they are that we can provide them, working through our LASA partners as well. In addition to that, the homeowner's son has expressed interest in possibly converting the property lot, it's a vacant lot, into something else that the community can use, such as parking and also using the space for a nearby church. We have not committed to that at this point. It's just an expiration. It's an option. It's an alternative that the property owner's son has thrown out at us in terms of how they can avoid from this happening again. So we are looking at the short term, which is the abatement of the nuisance, but we're also looking at a long-term solution so that it does not happen again within 3 to 6 months. The latter part is going to take a little bit more time coordinating with the planning department, whether rezoning is a feasible option or not, or whether it can be repurposed for a parking lot or some other use as opposed to leaving it vacant. The property owner's son has committed to putting a fence around the property so that once it's abated, they'll erect the fence, and hopefully that will deter some of the nuisance to occur again. However, we are looking at a long-term solution as well. So in short, we have made contact. We believe that we have the approvals in place to do the abatement. The property owner's son is going to do it themselves, and then in return, they're asking us to coordinate with them for safety. So hopefully the goal is within the next 3 to 4 weeks is when the abatement will occur. Late May, early June is what we're looking at.
Okay, understood.
Well, I guess he said a mouthful. So we'll monitor it, and if the property owner can't get it done, then we'll take care of it.
That was gonna be my my suggestion also. I imagine, and maybe Dr. Campos, when the property owner's son hires whoever's gonna clean and abate that area, maybe we can have some of the street services folks just to make sure that they leave it and it's under our or to the standard that we're looking for.
Yeah, we'll go back and re-inspect it and make sure it's done the way it should be.
Exactly. Thank you
Okay.
very much. And definitely the LASA outreach should be happening now if we're planning to abate it by the end of the month?
The coordination has started, Madam Chair, good question. The coordination with LASA has started about 2-3 months ago, so they have been going out to the property. I do not know the status of the in-house, but however, we'll remind them again, but they've been in the loop in the discussion, the coordination with that, so that's a very good and valid point. In addition to that, the property owner's sons and the family are fully aware of the potential costs of having the city abate the nuisance for them. They're trying everything they can on their end to do it themselves so that they can reduce the costs. They're well aware of the liens that are on the property now and potentially a new lien if we were to abate it ourselves. So they're working with us. We believe that they have, in good faith, communicated with us, and they're giving their best foot forward in terms of doing the abatement. At this point, it's just coordinating a date in which we can actually go out there, and all agreed to that on X date we will be out there. The property owners will be out there, and then we will be there just in case there's any safety issues, or as you indicated, having our inspectors there to do a post-cleanup inspection to make sure that it's being done properly.
I really want to make sure we make that happen. Thank you. I look forward to that date getting scheduled soon. The sooner the better. If we can move it fast, that would be great. I know this has been on the docket for a while now. So with that, and I imagine Council District 9 is fully aware of where we're at, right, in the process?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's good. Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
Madam Chair, would you like to continue this item for another 4 weeks to keep it on the docket, or would you like to note and file this and close out this item? We can do either.
No, if it's okay with my colleagues, I would want to bring it back up in 2 weeks. I just want to make sure that we're moving, we keep moving with this.
Absolutely. That would be Wednesday, May 24th.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on from item number 7, unless there are any objections. Seeing none, moving on. Moving on to item number 8. This is a tree removal in Council District 11. Tree removal at 6055 West Center Drive. Recommending the board to find that the tree removal is in compliance with the conditions of the track map approval for VTT 703CN and will not have significant effect on the environment as it is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to case number ENV-2008-3887, MND-REC-2. 2, find that none of the conditions requiring a supplemental EIR are set forth in section 15162. State of the CEQA guidelines apply. 3, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division located at 1149 South Broadway is custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And 2, review and approve this tree removal permit request for the removal of 12 palm trees at 6055 West Center Drive, which includes 7 Canary Island date palm and 5 Mexican fan palm for the construction of a new 19-story apartment building. Tree replacements are required. Okay, so I know there's a couple folks here. Come on, sir. Welcome. Mr. Ramirez is going to lead us on today's presentation. I know we have our applicant who is here as well. Are you here? Okay, you're in the chambers. Thank you. And then we also have a comment from Sheen Silva, Council District 11. Are you here, sir? Mr. Silva? Hello. And because you are interested parties or parties of interest for this case, we will not have any official time limit, especially for Council District 11. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mr. Ramirez speak and have his presentation. If there are any questions or any concerns, then obviously Mr. Sean can come up after Mr. Ramirez. If there are any questions and commissioners have questions, then we can bring you guys up. Unless you want to come up and state your position from the beginning. And I'm sorry I didn't talk to you before the meeting. Aaron.
Yes, Commission President, Aaron Green with the Africa Consulting Group representing the applicant. We did prepare a very brief presentation, which we're happy to give, but I defer to you and the commission if you would prefer that we not give the presentation.
Okay,
we can do it in about 4 to 5 minutes, just for your awareness.
Got it. I think we would be interested in seeing it. I believe so. I'm getting the temperature from the colleagues here. All right, let's start with Mr. Ramirez first, and then we'll go with Mr. Silva, and then we'll go with you, Aaron.
Good morning, Honorable Board of Public Works. Again, my name is Brian Ramirez, and I will be presenting this item for a request from the board to approve the removal of 12 palm trees at 6055 West Center Drive, which includes the 7 Canary Island date palm and 5 Mexican fan palm for the construction of a new 19-story apartment building in relation to City Planning Case number VTT 70318CN, the Howard Hughes Development Agreement, and Administrative Approval Ordinance number 181883. I would like to read into the record and an additional recommendation, which is that the board also concur with Streets LA's determination that the site cannot feasibly accommodate all of the required replacement trees, and pursuant to LAMC 62.177C, authorize the tree replacement guarantee fee to satisfy the board's tree planting requirement.
That sounds like an amendment to me.
Yes. As it pertains to the recital, the TA Partners Apartment Fund 2 LLC is planning to build a 19-story residential high-rise apartment building with 426 units at 6055 West Center Drive within the Westchester Playa del Rey community. The existing property is a vacant lot with flat to steep topography. The developer is required to install shoring beams along the property's frontage to construct the residential apartment building. The scope of work and equipment required to complete this necessary earthwork will conflict with the 12 palm trees along Center Drive. The property owner's representative submitted a tree removal permit application and tree report to Streets LA Urban Forestry Division for review. Subsequently, a Streets LA arborist inspected the subject site on November 18th, 2022 to verify and address potential impacts to street trees adjacent to the construction site. A total of 12 palm trees growing in the public right-of-way were identified to require removal. The 12 palm trees identified for removal include the 7 Canary Island date palm, measuring approximately 26 inches in diameter by 20 to 30 feet in height, and 5 Mexican fan palm, Washingtonia robusta, measuring approximately 10 inches in diameter by 30 to 40 feet in height, growing along Center Drive. All 12 palm trees are in good to fair condition, growing in tree wells measuring 6 feet by 6 feet. The current location of all 12 palm trees will conflict with the necessary shoring work and equipment required to complete the installation of 38 large beams and shoring along the property's frontage. It is not feasible to preserve the trees throughout construction due to the dimensions of the equipment needed to vertically drill and drive piles into the ground. The large machinery and equipment cannot maneuver within the public right-of-way around the existing palm trees to install the shoring pursuant to the shoring plan in transmittal number 7. Nor can machinery equipment perform the work from the private property side due to the existing steep topography along the property's frontage. As it pertains to the alternatives considered by Streets LA, Streets LA endeavors to retain healthy, mature street trees whenever possible and will only consider removal of healthy, mature street trees after all alternatives for preservation have been explored. Streets LA held numerous meetings with the applicant and representatives to ascertain proper justification for tree removals. Due to the project's scope and trees' location, the possibility of tree preservation throughout construction is not feasible. The temporary relocation or transplanting of the palm trees is feasible and will be incorporated as part of the recommended conditions. Streets LA recommends approval for the removal of 12 palm trees to allow for proposed construction and related site improvements. If approved, the applicant shall relocate or transplant the 5 existing Mexican fan palms, maintain them off-site until the completion of the project, and relocate them or transplant them back within the public right-of-way. 2 additional Mexican fan palms with a brown trunk height matching the original palms will be planted to ensure that all feasible planting locations are utilized. The replacement palm trees planted on site shall be watered for a minimum 5-year period after planting. The additional 17 trees needed to meet the board's 2-to-1 tree replacement policy cannot be feasibly planted on site due to spacing restrictions. Therefore, pursuant to LAMC Section 62.177, the applicant shall pay the tree replacement guarantee fee of $1,945 for each replacement that cannot feasibly be planted on site, totaling in $33,218. As it pertains to CEQA determination, the Los Angeles City Planning Department determined that the project, including the tree removals, will not have a significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to CEQA case number ENV 2008-3887 MND Rec 2. The project's mitigated negative declaration was utilized in forming these recommendations in this report and is on file with Streets LA and available to the public upon request. As it pertains to the public notifications for this project, the 11th Council District was informed of the tree removal request on March 31st, 2023, and was to notify Streets LA of any objections received by their office. In addition, the planning deputy, Jeff Cow, of the 11th Council District, he expressed support for the project, the tree removal and the replacement plan. In addition, the notice, there was a public notice posted on the trees on December 28th, 2022. These tree removals were also included in the Bureau of Street Services tree removal notification system, and the Community Forest Advisory Committee and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment were also notified. This concludes my presentation to the board, and I am available for any question that the board may have at this time.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez, for your presentation. I'm going to have Mr. Sean Silva come up and exercise your public comment speaker card. And Sean Silva is representing Council District 11.
Good morning, honorable members of the board. On behalf of our office and Jeff Cow, our planning deputy, my name is Sean Silva. I'm an assistant planning deputy for our office. As previously noted, our office is in full support of the staff recommendation for this item, item 8, which will see the temporary removal and later restoration of 12 trees from the site, generally speaking. In addition, as you have heard, 2 more trees of the same or a complementary variety will be added to the site, thus ensuring more than full restoration of the site and a creation of an attractive site overall. So we are encouraged by this net gain of 2 trees for the site and for the cohesion that that will bring, and so therefore we're in full support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Silva. And can we have Aaron and your team come up?
Good morning, President Garcia, honorable members of the commission. My name is Aaron Green. I'm the president of the AFRIA Consulting Group representing the applicant today. I just wanted to briefly summarize a couple of pieces and share a few exhibits that I think are helpful for context given the size of this site. I also want to start by sincerely thanking staff. We spent a lot of time with them. They spent a lot of time with us to look at this, figure out how we could make this the most advantageous project possible, both for the housing that this will create as well as the public right-of-way. Next slide, please. So as Mr. Ramirez mentioned, this is a 19-story project. This is the last undeveloped parcel in what is commonly known as the Howard Hughes Center, which was subject to a master plan in 1986. The existing parcel is vacant. It has a steep topography, and it's actually sort of a pie shape. We are requesting, and I would just like to note, I know many applicants come before you and say, we can't build this project, so we'd like to take away these trees and give you some money and have you figure out what to do in the future. We've really endeavored to do something different. So our client has committed to spending a very significant amount of time and resources to temporarily relocate and then bring back all of the existing trees that are there today in a combination of the public right-of-way and on-site. And I'll get into that in a bit. And in addition, as Council District 11 said, to add 2 more trees to the overall site. Next slide, please. So this triangular shaped slide is an overview of the property. As you can see, sort of on the top left is a large parking garage that goes right up to the property line. Sort of on the top right is the exit from the I-405 South. And then on the curved bottom is Center Drive. Next slide, please. This is a shot looking up from the 405 on-ramp, and we can see the very steep topography that leads up to Center Drive. This also shows the 12 palm trees that are in the public right-of-way. As staff mentioned, there are 5 Mexican fan palms and 7 Canary Island date palms. Next slide, please. And this is just another shot looking again at the palms. Next slide, please. So in order to build this project, we need to build a foundation for the project. It's a large building. And in order to build a foundation, we need to provide what's called shoring in order to create the very stable base of the building. In order to do that, we need to install what are called shoring piles or soldier piles, as staff mentioned. The only place that we can provide those shoring piles is along Center Drive. And if I will go into more detail on that in just a moment. If we cannot install those shoring piles, we cannot build a stable foundation for the project, and therefore the project and the 426 units cannot be built here. So as you can see on the exhibit, we have these 12 trees. As you will note, the narrower sort of plumage represents the Mexican fan palms, and the wider represents the Canary Island date palms. In addition, when the project is built, we are required to provide 2 driveways, a new catch basin, and space for an LADWP transformer all along Center Drive. So what we're proposing to do is temporarily take away, store in a nursery while the project is under construction, and then bring back all 12 of the palms. 5 of the existing Mexican fan palms will go back into the public right-of-way. We will bring in 2 more tall Mexican fan palms that will also go back into the right-of-way. We will then take the 7 Canary Island date palms and put them onto our property so that they will still be visible from the public and still provide that visual continuity to the streetscape. Next slide, please. So as you can see, this is what the project will look like, or the street will look like in the future. And you can see on the top right-hand side is where those 7 Canary Island palms are on our property. And then the 7 Mexican fan palms are on the public right-of-way. There are 5 very small sort of red areas where you can see the tree wells will no longer, the existing tree wells will no longer have trees in them because they will be removed on the very top and bottom for 2 driveways to the building, as well as a transformer and a catch basin for the project. The reason we, next slide please. The reason we can't build the project and build the shoring without removing the palms temporarily is because of the topography of the site. As I had mentioned, there's a 24-foot grade change, and Center Drive is the highest point. We have to install those shoring piles along Center Drive in order to build the foundation and the shoring. The material or the equipment that you see before you is an example of the type of equipment and the piles that we need to use. These are very large machines that range in length from 15 to 30 feet in length. And if you go to the next slide, please, you'll see all along Center Drive, and I apologize if they're a little hard to see because there are many of them. They're every 7 to 8.5 feet, we have to install these shoring piles along Center Drive in order to create a wall that provides for the foundation. And it's simply impossible to navigate this large machinery in between the palms and drive these piles that are, upwards of 40 feet long down into the ground. So that's why we are requesting to temporarily remove them in order to create the shoring and therefore the safe foundation for this project. In summary, next slide, please. We are requesting that the Commission support staff recommendation as well as the amendment that was proposed this morning, which would allow us to temporarily remove these trees, bring all of them back add 2 new ones into the public right, the 2 new Mexican fan palms into the public right-of-way, and enable this 426-unit project, which is on land that is currently not serving any public or community benefit, nor is it serving the greater good of the city, to allow us to bring a very significant amount of housing to this site. So I thank you. I'm here with the owner as well as members of the project team. If anybody has any questions for us, I very much appreciate the time and consideration.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. Actually, it was very insightful, which helps us as we make decisions. So thank you for that. Any questions, colleagues, to either Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Aaron, or Mr. Silva? Dr. Davis?
Yes, in terms of the trees, I'm trying to get clarity. You mentioned from street services that it was 5 trees, correct?
There was, yes, 5 Mexican fan palms and 7 Canary Island day palms along the frontage.
Okay, so that's the clarity.
Total of 12.
Okay, got it. Okay, so basically, street services has said that there were a total of 12 trees in all. Is that
Correct.
And we have said in street services that because of the space in the site, that only 5 trees would be able to be replaced. Is that right?
5 of the original palm trees will be replaced, which are the smaller Mexican fan palms, and an additional 2 Mexican fan palms will be added to the site, totaling in 7 replacements. The reason for the inability to replant 12, again, is for the building to get access to this newly constructed building. There will be driveways, there will be a catch basin, DWP transformers, and it limits the replacements to a total of 7.
So at the end of the project, though, there is a commitment from the developer to bring all of the 12 trees back, though in a different spot, correct?
Yes, so the Canary Island date palms, which were the larger, broader palm trees, they will be planted on the private property. The Board of Public Works, Urban Forestry Division will no longer have jurisdiction over, or any say over those palm trees, which is why we're only accounting for the public right-of-way replacement trees. I think it speaks to the project's desire to lessen the environmental effect by bringing these palm trees back, but again, being that they are on private property, Urban Forestry is making the recommendation that the in lieu fee apply for additional replacements within the public right-of-way throughout the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez and Dr. Davis. Commissioner Reyes?
So just in another clarification, in essence, the developer is meeting the requirements for, our requirements for the tree replacement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know that this is not customary, the way we do this, because we really try to avoid removing any trees for staging purposes. And so I thank you for explaining the unusual circumstances that this project is facing. But it seems like you guys worked out a way that we save trees, and we also are gonna, you also meet the tree fee guaranteed ordinance, policy we have here as well. So it seems like you kind of really thought this through with intention, which is really good. Thank you so much for working with UFD and UFD working with them to make sure that we save as many trees as we can. And I just want to say that that is our culture here. We've worked very hard to get to the point where we are saving trees. And so we appreciate when this type of design goes into effect and planning, because it does make a difference. And so we're not saying we're removing trees and thank you, but we're actually saying we're going to bring them back, and we're going to add more. They're going to go into your private property that you will maintain, and then we still meet the tree guarantee. So this is actually very, very thought out. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments, colleagues? Seeing none, when is this project going to finish, for lack of a better word? I know we haven't started, but when do we finish?
Aaron Green with the applicant. So we are very close to receiving our shoring and excavation permit from the Building and Safety Department. We've been in that process for over a year. This was one of the items that's pending before we can begin work on the site. It's our hope to begin in the coming months, and then it'll take about 30 months to build the project. So I'm trying to do the math in my head as to what year that is. But so we hope to go very soon, and that's the summary answer to your question.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Okay, I don't see any other questions, but I know we have an amendment. Dr. Campos, would you mind reading the amendment for the public?
Absolutely. The proposed amendment, as read by the Bureau of Street Services, is to add a new recommendation number 5 to read as follows. Concur with the Bureau of Street Services determination that the site cannot feasibly accommodate all the required replacement trees, and pursuant to LAMC, which is the Los Angeles Municipal Code 62.177C, authorize the tree replacement guarantee fee to satisfy the board's tree planting requirement.
Any objections to the amendment? Seeing none. Any objections overall? Seeing none either. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 8 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 8 forward and forthwith as amended.
Absolutely. Let's start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. And very well done. Thank you for the presentation as well. Okay, colleagues, moving on to item number 9. This is in all council districts. Invocation of Article 12, excusable delays, Martin Outdoor Media, LLC Bus Bench Program. And this is a request from the Bureau of Street Services, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the Bureau of Street Services to grant Martin Outdoor Media, LLC, doing business as Insight Street Media, LLC, the following actions based upon Article 12 of the contract due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on business operations. A, defer payment of the 2019 percentage fee originally due April 2020 to commence in June 2023, with a total of 8 equal payments being made on a quarterly basis thereafter through March 2025. B, forgive mom. Actually,
Martin Outdoor Media.
actually, that's actually a very good day today, as Mother's Day. 1 point for that one. Forgive mom, which is acronym for Martin Outdoor Media, of its obligation to provide the city with its 2021 minimum annual fee due in January 2021 and 2020 percentage fee due in April 2021. And Mr. Rossini, you are here to explain what we are doing.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Lance Owishi with the Bureau of Street Services. I'm the city's contract administrator for the Bus Bench Program, and I'm here to request the board's approval or adoption of our report to forgive Martin Outdoor Media of its fees due to the city in 2021 due to the COVID pandemic. And as you may recall, we were here a little bit earlier this year reporting on the performance of Martin Outdoor Media, as we like to call them fondly, Mom. Martin has been an excellent partner for us. We have been under contract with them since 2011. And, a year and a half ago, the board actually allowed us to extend take the option on the contract to extend the contract through 2026. And Martin has been a great partner for us. They've continued to operate and successfully maintain and sell advertising on our bus benches to create revenues for the city. And that was perfectly well. From 2011 through 2019, every year program revenues grew. Martin was doing, again, an outstanding job servicing our benches. However, in 2020, when the COVID pandemic hit, it completely turned not just our daily lives upside down, but also the advertising market in particular. people stopped riding transit. We actually had a shutdown, right? We couldn't drive around. People stopped going to offices. People stopped taking buses. And so what happened as a result of that is that advertisers that had previously signed contracts with Martin Outdoor Media immediately started to rescind their contracts or ask for renegotiations of those contracts. As a result, Martin saw a tremendous loss of revenue starting from March of 2020. And to give you an example, in 2019, Martin Outdoor Media's gross revenues were approximately $6.3 million. In 2020, that dropped down to $4 million, just a tad over $4 million. And so for a company of that size to lose over $2 million in revenue in that short of a time is almost catastrophic. Despite that, Martin was successful in continuing to operate our benches. They not only operate our benches, but at the start of the pandemic, we actually asked them to double their service visits to our benches to disinfect them. And coincidentally, because their sales kind of slowed down, they had sales staff that were not on the phone making sales. They actually had their sales staff out there disinfecting benches, including their CEO, Randy Smith, who, by the way, is here with me today, and Keith Thompson. The whole team was out there trying to take care of our benches, help us adjust to those pandemic conditions. The market has slowly recovered, and even in 2022, Martin Outdoor Media's gross revenue sales are only about $5.3 million, so they're still $1 million below what they were in 2019. We continue to climb out of that hole, but again, because of that pandemic, it really affected Martin Outdoor Media's sales. So in June of that year, they actually sent us a letter asking for forgiveness of fees. Now, Randy, in his financial wizardry, had tried to work out a specific formula for us to kind of forgive fees from 2020 or advance that to 2021. We decided to make it a little bit cleaner and just say forgive all the fees for 2021. And so despite that, Randy, in his letter to us, did state that if the company was able to generate more than $4.5 million in 2021, that the company would be willing to give us 9% of anything over $4.5 million. I guess $4.5 million seems to be a threshold that the company needs to minimally operate. Because of the initial shocks and impacts of the COVID pandemic, Martin Outdoor Media was forced to furlough employees and lay off some sales employees, but they kept their service employees out there, again, because they needed to take care of our benches. And so, what I'm saying is that, $4.5 million probably, to me, seems like the floor of what the company needs to successfully operate 6,000 benches for us. The company also continues to actually do additional work for us in the sense of installing additional benches beyond the 6,000, maintaining additional litter receptacles beyond the 2,100 that we had back in 2019. And so because of that, we felt it was reasonable to accommodate that request, and hence our request to forgive the loans, the fees due to the city in 2021. I want to read from the contract itself into the record what Article 12 of our contract says. And normally this would be called a force majeure clause of a contract. But so Article 12 of our contract with Martin Outdoor Media, contract C119661, says, in the event that performance on the part of any party hereto is delayed or suspended as a result of circumstances beyond their reasonable control, and without fault and negligence of said party, none of the parties shall incur any liability to the other parties as a result of such delay or suspension. Circumstances deemed beyond the control of parties hereunder include, but not are limited to, acts of God or of the public enemy, insurrection, acts of federal government or any unit of the state or local government in either sovereign or contractual capacities, fires, floods, earthquakes, and I want to emphasize this, epidemics, quarantine restrictions as well, strikes, freight embargoes, or delays in transportation or fabrication to the extent that they are not caused by the party's willful or negligent acts or omissions, and to the extent that they're beyond the party's reasonable control. And so because of that clause, we felt that it was important, especially because the contract itself mentions epidemics, it mentions quarantines, both of which we went under in 2020 and 2021. No one expected the the epidemic to continue on to be as prolonged as it is right now. But again, Martin Outdoor Media continues to perform admirably for us. Starting in 2022, they did start their repayment to us per the schedule. And it's important to note that over the last 11 and a half years that Martin Outdoor Media has been a partner with the city, they have actually provided upwards of $1.7 million over and above the minimum annual fee. That includes not paying that 2021 fee. And so, because they have performed overall, if you look at the total term of the contract, $1.7 million more than what we anticipated we would be at right now, we felt that it was a reasonable request to forgive Martin Outdoor Media of its fees. And the total amount that we're asking for forgiveness of amounts to, get my notes here, it's $389,700. And so, again, looking at the total amount of monies and revenues that the company has been able to provide to the city, we believe that the request is a reasonable one. And so with that, I ask that you adopt our report, approve the forgiveness of the revenues from Martin Outdoor Media. And at this time, I'd make myself available for any questions.
Thank you so much, Lance, for your report. Appreciate all the detail that you gave us. How long have we been in contract with Martin Outdoor Media?
So the contract was executed by the Board of Public Works in October of 2011. And so at this point, we're about 11 and a half years into the contract.
Okay, understood. Any questions, colleagues? Any comments, concerns? Hearing none. Okay. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 9 forward and forthwith? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second? Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Okay, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 9 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. I just want to make a comment to the owners of Martin Outdoor Media. I just want to thank you for keeping your personnel during COVID employed and receiving a paycheck. And we understand that a lot of your staff is second chance or transitional. And so as we always, they're also a very big part of our community and our public resident constituency. So we always, anytime that we can do more for that community, we appreciate it. So thank you for having the foresight and the heart to keep everyone employed during such a hard time. So I think that's why it makes it so much easier for us to say, yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lance, and thank you both. Have a good rest of the day. Right, colleagues, we are moving on. Moving on to item number 10. This is an all-council district for a budget increase and revised task order solicitation number 702, Tetra Tech Inc. and MGE Engineering Inc. And we have Mr. Al, the famous celebrity Al Bazzi here today. And Al, you have like tons going on here. So I am going to read it, but I think you are going to have to do some presentation about this. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Sounds good.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to just read the title, and then, Al, you can lead us into the both recommendations that you're asking for. It's kind of a lot of revision, so I want to make sure that you state them the right way. It's a budget increase and revised task order solicitation number 702, Tetra Tech Inc. and MGE Engineering Inc., recommending the board to, 1, and then authorize the Bureau of Street Services Director to issue a revision of task order number 702 to Tetra Tech. And then 2, and then I'll let you go into the specifics of that. And 2, authorize the Bureau of Sanitation Director to issue revision of the task for task order number 702B to MGE Engineering Inc. And with that, I turn it over to Mr. Al Bazzi.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Madam President, fellow commissioners, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. Executive Officer. For the record, Al Bazi from Streets LA, reporting on this item. So in reality, this is one TOS that we issued last year, but because we ended up with selecting two consultants, that's why we have 702A and 702B, but basically it's just one TOS. So, so last year, Streets LA issued TOS 702 from BOE's bridge on-call list to hire two consultants. And the purpose of this TOS was for the consultants to assist the Bureau in designing access ramps related to the city's pavement preservation program. So we've got quite a bit of backlog, huge backlog that's been accumulating. So that was the purpose of the original TOS that was issued last year. We selected two consultants, MGE and Tetra Tech, and we tasked them with 250 access ramps each to design, and that contract is good through November of 2024. That's when it expires, and BOE will be renewing that contract. Consultants have been doing really well. They've been progressing, and they're gonna, it looks like they can exceed that original allocation. So I'm here today to request an extension, raising the ceiling so that we can give them more ramps. Needless to say how important this task is for the Bureau and the city. So we need these consultants to keep ramping up these designs. In discussions and monitoring their progress, I'm requesting today, in Tetra Tech's case, to add authority for them to do 100 additional ramps, bringing their allocation to 350 ramps. And that's gonna cost us additional $441,000. The original allocation that was approved by the board back in December was $1.25 million. Adding the $441,000 to that, that puts today's request to raise Tetra Tech's ceiling to $1.7 million. In the case of MGE, we are, in the case of MGE, they're working with other sub-consultants, right? They're teamed up with other consultants, so they're able to do more. They're committing to providing us with 200 additional ramps, and that would be at an additional cost of $868,000. The original contract was $1.44 million. If we add the $868,000, that puts us at $2.3 million. The participation levels will remain pretty much the same. Both firms are exceeding the required 8%. Since this is a federal contract, the only participation required is a DBE participation at 8%. Tetra Tech is pledging 11.7%, and MGE is pledging 58%. That concludes my report. I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bazzi. Can you tell me in total how many access ramps will MGE be doing? I know you said 200 with the additional money, but in total, how many ramps are they slated to do?
250 plus 200, that will put them at 450.
Okay, 450. I missed the first one then. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
It's almost like 800 access ramps with this task order.
That is correct. That's
Okay,
accurate.
Understood. Any questions, colleagues? Vice President Villegas and then Commissioner Reyes.
Thank you. And just for context and just for a little clarity, we're asking consultants, Tetra Tech and MGE Engineering, to do additional design work. And what is the, I guess, justification for them to do this work? We give them this work that puts out other opportunities for other consultants on our on-call list. So I just want a little bit of context on if you can let us know why continuing this work with them.
Sure, absolutely. Good question, Commissioner. When we put out this TOS, we received four proposals, four interested entities from the 24 consultants on the list. And we made it clear in the beginning that when the selected consultants need to have the capacity, the capability to keep going and produce more than what we're asking in case it's needed, in case they do exceed their allocation. So that was made clear right in the beginning. So the consultants had to demonstrate the capability that they have the adequate teams on board to provide the volume that we are asking. And that's why the selection was one of the things we looked at when we were evaluating the consultants. And that's why those two were selected. There was a good learning curve involved here at the beginning. We have certain requirements with ADA and certain level of detail that is required on these designs. So these two consultants had to go through that process. At the beginning, it started a little bit slow, and then we've witnessed in the past 2 months an acceleration in the production of access ramps. So we have really invested in that task, and it's paying off right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I don't have any more questions.
Commissioner Reyes?
One of the justifications mentioned was also to catch up on the backlog. All right. So where are we with addition of these two consultants? Where will that place us? And what is the timeline for us to meet that backlog with these additional contracts? And is there like a priority list as well that your plan of action includes?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner, for that. It's a good question. The backlog is huge. It's thousands of ramps. And
that equates to how many years of backlog? Do you know?
Since 2017.
Before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, that is correct. And we continue, every time we resurface the street, we continue to generate these ramps. This is still ongoing. We generate about 5,000 ramps per year when we resurface our 23,000 lane miles. So it's a very sizable backlog. And our executive management right now are in the process of implementing a plan going forward, how we're going to address this big backlog. CAOs involved, city attorneys involved with our discussions. It's related to Willits as well. So the plan is being developed right now. This is a task that's not going to completed in a few years. And then don't forget, Commissioner, is also the construction that has to be addressed. We do all this in-house by Streets LA crews. So right now we're looking at reallocating crews from other programs to increase the construction of this ramp. So it's not just the design we have to talk about, it's the mechanisms we need to construct them. We're looking at maybe contracting some of this work out in the future.
I would be interested in looking at and for the Bureau to report back to us on that plan of action, so at least we can connect the dots and have a very comprehensive view of this project, because this is very important to us. And if you have a backlog, we'll be interested in what that plan of action is to address that backlog.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. That's a very good point. We would want to hear how you're addressing that. And I take it with this 800, that's not going to make a big dent, but it's part of what we have to do. Okay. Any other questions, Vice President Villegas?
Yeah, I just have one, just for Just for clarification for myself, you said this is from the bridge on-call list, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you weren't gonna, why that if these are access ramps?
The bridge contract is the only federal contract we currently have in the city. And when we approach this, we want to keep all avenues open for future funding in case we get federal funding for construction. It's going to come up which consultants we're engaging, and that's why we want to play it safe and use the federal contract to make sure there's not going to be any funding constraints in the future.
Okay, I am, why don't we talk offline? I'm about just a little bit more information for myself, just on these types of contracts and how you decide the flexibility to be able to do some of this work.
Sure, absolutely. I will do that.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Any other questions? Seeing none. When would this task order get started? I know some have started, but has it noted to proceed?
I have not given that. After board's action today, we will officially give them a notice to proceed to continue going forward on this task.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, colleagues? Any objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 10 forward and forthwith? Dr. Davis, is that a motion from you? Okay, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 10 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
All right, Mr. Bassi, you're quite not leaving yet. I see that you're going to be presenting in other items, but thank you so much for this item, and you're good to go on this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 11, this is in all council districts from our executive office, board office, amendment number 3, memorandum of agreement, homeless mobile shower program, recommending the board to 1, approve the proposed amendment memorandum of agreement number 3 between the County of Los Angeles and the City of Los Angeles for the use of county trailers for the homeless mobile shower program for another 1-year term, and 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the MOA. And this morning, we have Mr. Mike Yu. It is still morning, yes.
Good morning, President Garcia, honorable board members, bureau representatives, Dr. Campos, and Mr. Jordan. My name is Mike Yu. I work for Board of Public Works Executive Office. First, I want to provide some background about this MOU with county. On July 11, 2019, the board office reached agreement with the County of Los Angeles to utilize their 4 mobile shower trailers at no cost for the mobile shower program. A mobile shower program has been very successful so far. We have been utilizing 4 mobile shower trailers to service 15 locations in the city on a weekly basis. Just in this fiscal year, from July to March, we have serviced 13,585 patrons. Due to the success of the mobile shower program, also the positive feedback from the local community and the council offices, on April 19th of this year, your board authorized and approved the amendment to the existing contract C-138634 for continue the mobile shower program for another 12-month term. Following the discussion with the County of Los Angeles, they agreed to also amend their MOU for another 12-month term so that city can continue utilizing the 4 mobile shower trailers at no cost to keep the mobile shower program running. Therefore, I'm requesting your board to approve the amendment to county MOU so that the board office can continue the mobile shower program for another 12 months term. This is conclude my report. I'm open to any question you might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your report. Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none, any objections? Seeing none. I don't have any questions. I'm just excited. I'm just happy that we keep on this program going. And just clarity for today is just that we're just going one more year to be able to use the homeless mobile showers from the LA County. So it's a nice partnership that we have with them. Thank you, Mike. And Mike oversees that contract, thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you, President.
All right, well, I don't see any other questions or comments or any concerns. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 11 forward and forthwith? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Reyes to move item number 11 forward and forthwith.
We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corzan. And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank
and
you.
have a good rest of the day.
You too.
All right, moving on to item number 12. This is a joint report by the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration in Council Districts 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 14 and 15. We just missed 2?
Yeah, just Council District 2.
All right, want to hear all about it. Contract award to Access Pacific Inc. Sidewalk Repair Program, package number 62. Determine that the Sidewalk Repair Program, package number 62, Design Build Access Request Acceleration Sites Project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to State CEQA Guidelines, Article 19, Section 15301, existing facilities, and Los Angeles CEQA Guidelines, Article 3, Section 1, Class 1, existing facilities, Category 3, and none of the limitations set forth in the state CEQA Guidelines 15300.2 apply. 2, concur with the Bureau of Engineering approval of the sidewalk repairs in the project. 3, declare Access Pacific, Inc. the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Access a contract for this project for the amount of $6,792,231.20. And 4, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. 5, approve on a programmatic basis the tree removals listed below and direct the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division to request subsequent board approvals for individual tree removals after site design. And 6, direct the BOE to file a notice of exemption for the project with the Los Angeles County Clerk. And sir, we have Mr. Omar Barshiz here. Please explain to us what you are doing here.
Okay. Still morning. Good morning, board and representatives. My name is Omar Bresh. I'm the Senior Civil Engineer for Bureau of Engineering Sidewalk Division. The Bureau is requesting authority to award Sidewalk Repair Program Package 62 to Access Pacific, Inc., which was the lowest responsible bidder at $6,792,231.20, and all the related recommendations in the board report. The background. The project is being delivered by the Sidewalk Repair Program, SRP, which was initiated by Council File number 140163S4 and adopted February 3rd, 2015. The SRP Access Request Subprogram makes repairs requested by for people with mobility disability who encounter physical barriers such as broken sidewalk, missing or broken curb ramps, or other barriers within the City of Los Angeles right-of-way. The delivery method for this project is design-build. In addition to construction, the contractor's scope of work will include engineering design of 50 access request sites throughout the city. The contract duration is 500 days, calendar days. sorry. On December 14, 2022, 2 bids were received. Access Pacific deemed lowest responsible bidder. The second bid was from Geronimo Concrete, Inc., which was at $7,279,745.12. This project is a mouthful on that. The project is being funded via SB1 Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program, special funded for sidewalk repair access request acceleration. This concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Mr. Barshi, for your report. Before I go into deliberations of the commissioners, I just want to double check, do we have any public comment on this item? Item number 12. Can you check the Zoom?
Yeah, absolutely. Members of the general public that are here joining us through the Zoom application or in person here in chambers, we'd just like to confirm if there's any general public comment under item number 12. If you would like to make any comments at this time, you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon if you're joining us through the Zoom application. Again, this is for members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment on item number 12, which is the contract award to Access Pacific Sidewalk Repair Program Package number 62. At this time, the board is considering any public comments on this item. If you'd like to make those, you can raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon. Madam President, seeing no hands raised, virtual or here in person, no speaker cards, confirming no speakers.
Okay, perfect, very well. Public comment for item number 12 is officially now closed. Okay, colleagues, any questions for Mr. Omar Barshi? I see Dr. Davis, VP Villegas. We'll start with Dr. Davis.
Yes, in terms of this project, it's a $6.7 million effort to fund the repairs, and it's in virtually most of our districts, correct?
Yes.
1 through 15, correct?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of Access, I guess is the vendor for this particular, the contractor for this area, how does it relate to the work that we have committed to for smaller businesses doing sidewalk repair? How does that one fit into this?
So we have several projects that are going to be going out to small contractors. This was, the mayor requested that we meet our annual commitment for the Access Acceleration Funds for the fiscal year 2021-22. So as soon as possible. So to accommodate this request, we put together a large design-build project. So in order to expedite the process through the bid and award and put this project out as soon as possible so they can start working on that. Additionally, we will continue to award small packages to local contractors through RFQs, which should be coming to the board for approval shortly. But we're making progress on that, and we're trying to accommodate that also.
So we could not have achieved the same goal, putting out the request in the same way to a smaller company?
Well, for a smaller company, they wouldn't have the capacity to put out this contract at such 500 calendar days and their bond requirements. So we did do a outreach program. We send emails to a lot of contractors to see what they think of these types of projects coming in, and it was mostly the larger companies that responded to these.
So for us to achieve that in terms of if we did a project like this in a manner in which we would, I guess, expedite the project, to do it with a smaller company would have caused more manpower on staff to coordinate that, because it happens in each of the 15 districts, right?
Yes.
Which would have been a great opportunity for small businesses in each of the 15 districts
Yes.
to have an opportunity to engage in an economic opportunity quickly.
Yes.
And nobody needs the money quicker than small businesses.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
the bigger businesses,
Yeah.
with the great opportunities that they have been implementing over time, sometimes might be able to sustain themselves much more than perhaps smaller businesses will. Perhaps, I don't know.
So one of the bidders that we had was Geronimo Concrete, Inc. They were the second lowest bidder. They were initially started out as a small contractor with us, and over time, they worked with us, and they were able to bid on this project. And they were, and unfortunately, they didn't meet the lower bids, and so we did do our due diligence on that part to.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that there are some smaller businesses that are growing and developing.
Yes, yes.
Developing in our market,
Yeah.
which is a wonderful thing, and
Yeah.
I hope that other companies will be able to demonstrate the same
Yeah.
thing. I hope in moving forward, when we have these challenges, that we will be able to work together to prove that we can not only just do this kind of thing for big businesses, but that we will put the kind of work in to demonstrate we could do it for small businesses. Imagine if we had gotten together, organized,
Yes.
and proved that we could have done something like this with the same challenge from the mayor's office,
Yeah.
and put people to work in all 15 districts
Yes.
in the great city
Yes.
of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. You make a very good point on this. This was a missed opportunity, but, I think the message here is that when we have projects like this, we should really think broadly to
Yeah.
make sure that we do something like that. I know Ted wants to say something, and then Vice President Villegas is also on the wing, so we'll go with Ted and then VP.
I don't mean to interject, I just want to point out, and if staff said it, I apologize for repeating it. One consideration is that this project will incorporate the city's project labor agreement. So it will.
Okay.
And so while it doesn't hit the community level contracting, because,
I see.
they are trying to create that balance for getting,
So you're saying a
50
project
or
labor
more sites.
agreement will be a
It
part
will
of this?
incorporate the project labor agreement, so there
Okay.
will be significant, benefit arising
Great.
from that.
Great, that's great.
Okay, you
Thank you
should have
for adding
started it there. We would have been all okay with this. Okay, VP Villegas.
Thank you, and thanks for the clarification from our city attorney. I had questions about that as well, so I won't go into it. But my second question was, do you have additional list of, two questions. How is the access ramp list created? And then two, are there more access ramps that need to get fixed as well? And how will those be treated?
Yeah, to answer your question, we do have a list. We have a huge backlog as we all, so we're trying to accommodate that. And that's why this package going out, this package doesn't, this is more a design-build package. And curb ramps require more design, more in-house. So we're giving the contractor simple sidewalk projects on this one. But as far as curb ramps, we're putting out in-house designs for those. Those are around like $2 million contracts. We've been going through a design-build process on those. We're going to be coming to board for a couple more of those. So
Okay, so there's more to come.
yes, there's more to come.
So if there's more to come, will you go through another process to select other consultants? To select other firms for this design-build work on the access ramps?
We're exploring all means at this time, but we're going to do a bid and awards. We're going to we're going to advertise these projects to all contractors, and it will be an open bid. So
Okay.
yeah, and they're going to be in-house designs. So we're going to have designs prepared for them. So it'll be more curb ramps, smaller contractors. They could be able to
Okay.
bid on these projects.
And then just for the record, as your engineers do the in-house design work to the extent feasible, and I hope that you're all cognizant of it, saving as many trees as we can is obviously helpful, or designing around a tree would be extremely helpful.
Yes, yes.
We've
We're
seen it successfully in other municipalities, and that's why I raise it here.
Yeah, we're implementing ramping over the trees to accommodate accessibility and also preserving the trees.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, VP Villegas, and thank you to our city attorney for clarifying that. I think that just kind of seals the deal for us. At least Dr. Davis and I were always on the pursuit of that. I just have a quick question and technical. Why did we leave out 2, District 2?
These were, like I mentioned, this is a design-build package, so these sites were handpicked to be a more simple design for the contractor to quickly prepare the designs, and unfortunately, we didn't have any sites that were meeting our criteria for this package for Council District 2, so.
Really?
Yeah, so.
Okay. 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 I'm trying to put my head around that I can't believe it's Council District 2. Not that I can't believe you're misjudging your assessment, not at all. I'm just trying to see how Council District 2 differs from all the other councils.
Yeah, well, this was because there's 50 sites, and they fall throughout the city, and unfortunately, Council District 2 didn't come in. But we're gonna, hopefully in the future packages, we'll have accommodate that if we do in-house design, if they're more complicated or they're curb ramps.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would just recommend that you also look again at Council District 2, just in
Yes.
case we have any.
Definitely,
Okay, thank you so much.
We'll keep that in mind.
Okay, Commissioner Reyes, you have your light on?
I just want to go into my soapbox again about community level contracting. In the spirit of, National Public Works Week coming up, I would really want all our bureaus to put CLC front and center when these big contracts are being thought about in a meaningful way, because they can be unbundled into smaller business contracts. That is really the core of what the city of LA is elevating and investing into. So I will not stop until I see that CLC provision being implemented, because this one is ripe for it.
Yeah.
There are opportunities for that, and I would just really want to see that come to fruition. So I will not stop my soapbox, and I will be on the case of the bureaus for not honoring and following this provision that the board has really intentionally worked on and meaningfully wanted all of that CLC opportunities to be implemented. And that, I wasn't even here on the board when that was adopted, but in that spirit of the CLC, I would like to see that followed.
Sure. Thank you.
Dr. Davis, did you want to say?
Yeah, I was here when we implemented it and was a part of the members, and I really appreciate your refreshing comments on CLC, Commissioner Reyes. And what I'd like to say to you as we look at this motion before us today, could you go back and have some conversation with your colleagues about the possibility of, in the future, coming up with an innovative plan like this one for the contractor and the labor agreements, which is wonderful. Can you come back with another wonderful plan and challenge us with some innovation, with something similar just like this for those that you didn't think about this time? And I know you can't, I know you don't wave a magic wand. I'm not trying to be impossible. But what I am trying to be is innovative. And I believe that our staff can be innovative. And I look forward to the day when they come in here with an innovative plan.
Sure.
So can you talk to your staff about coming in at some point in time with something like this?
Okay.
Similarly.
Definitely. Yes.
For community level contracting.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, Mr. Burris, I think message has gone loud and
Oh, yeah.
clear.
Definitely.
But one way we look at the PLA project, the other one we're looking at a more unbundling of the community, of contracting so that we can give more opportunities to others. And that's really what we are trying to do as a board and why we started community level contracting. And ideally today, we have a community level contracting or report back. So we'll be able to hear what other bureaus have been creatively doing, to Dr. Davis's point, around community level contracting.
Yes, definitely.
But we are happy with the PLA
Yes.
project here, so it's still good. Okay, colleagues, any other questions, comments, concerns, objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 12 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 12 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Varshis.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. All right, moving on to item number 13, and we are back with Mr. Bazzi. Item number 13, this is a request from Bureau of Street Services and the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 7. Task order solicitation number 68, Geosyntec Consultant, pre-qualified on-call consulting list, feasibility study for the Osborne Street Path to Park Access Project for Round 5 of the Safe Clean Water Regional Program, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Geosyntec Consultants from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering services consultants list to prepare a feasibility study for the Osborne Street Path to Park Access Project for Round 5 of the Safe Clean Water Regional Program as stated in Task Order 78, with a budget authority of $208,664, including contingency. And we're back here on still morning, 3 minutes to go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Al Bazzi, Bureau of Street Services. So in December 2022, Streets LA was awarded as part of ATP Cycle 6 projects a grant for $42 million to implement pedestrian and bicycle improvements. This is the Osborne project that expands from San Fernando to Foothill. So this project is about, that's for pedestrian and bicycle improvements, right? It did not have any Measure W features for water capture, for water treatment. This is what this project in front of us today. The matter in front of us today is to apply to get to use this $208,000 to hire a consultant to prepare a feasibility study so that we can apply for Measure W funding to add these Measure W benefits to this project. So not to exceed amount is $208,664. The TOS was issued on March 3rd to all 24 consultants on the on-call wastewater list. We received 4 proposals, and today's recommendation is to award this TOS to Geosyntec. I'm open to questions.
Okay, any questions, colleagues? Dr. Davis?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Al, I don't see any questions from my colleagues, but I do have a question. So this is going to include a water project this is new to street services, right?
This component will be new. It is going to be part of the overall big project. It's another component of it. It's applying for Measure W funds to implement some water capture, some water treatment, some water storage for future use.
Okay. Is this the first time Bureau of Street Services is applying for Measure W funds?
We've started. We have Manchester Broadway ongoing right now. That
one project.
We're getting some funds for that as well.
Okay. I see you guys creeping in.
Yes.
I don't have an issue if my colleagues don't have an issue. So I see the Vice President Villegas.
Thank you, and good question, President Garcia. Thanks to Street Services for bringing this item, to our attention. I think, Street Services has also been just expanding their focuses, not just on streets, but really seeing all of our streets and curbs and public spaces as an opportunity to provide additional water benefits or tree benefits, and they've been applying for Safe Clean Water program, and they've been successful in really securing active transportation grants. And so with that, they're able to at least put in another water element for water conservation. And this one happens to be in Council District 7, which is a good opportunity. But I just wanted to provide that context.
We've participated in at least 20 outreach activities in collaboration with CD7. We've been getting tremendous support, at least 15 communications we've received that are supporting this project. Community is so thrilled about it.
I see that. I'm very familiar with this area. I live in Council District 7, so I'm very familiar with what you're, how it looks like and the intention of what it's going to look like. Can you just tell me a little bit more on how you intend to use the Measure EE funds in this project?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, this small portion will be used to hire the consultant. We've engaged the consultant. We're starting immediately. Our first meeting is next week, and that's the scope that the consultant is going to do. They're going to develop a scope, a budget. They're going to tie in the schedule with the schedule of the overall project. So the main goal here is getting rid of the impervious surfaces, right? Plant trees and capture as much water as we can and treat it and put injection wells and store that water and basically recharge it.
Got it. Now, would this cross, or is this in conjunction with the advanced water purification project that we're building to irrigate the Hanson Dam spreading grounds?
There is no coordination with that project.
You might want to check in with Bureau of Sanitation, because what I do know is that we're building a structure that's going to irrigate the Hanson spreading grounds. Mind you, this Hanson spreading grounds is huge, so it could be on one side and we could be doing this on another side, but I would strongly suggest just to check in to see if there is a way to coordinate this, or are you guys going to be spreading two different sides of that area?
I will be more than happy to open that discussion, but this project is specific to Osborne. It's going to target the medians, any areas on Osborne that are impervious, and turning them into landscaped areas. So it's very specific, Commissioner, to the Osborne corridor.
To the street, right?
To the street
Got
itself,
it.
yes.
I understand that.
Yes.
Can you just double check, because there's two huge, like your project and that advanced water purification project that are going to happen there, just so that you guys are all on the same page and working together as bureaus?
Yeah.
Okay. And who is in charge at the advanced water purification for the Tillman plant? Commissioner Reyes, do you know?
Sorry. The operations manager for Tillman.
Jose
They're looking
Fuentes?
into that.
Would that be Jose Fuentes?
The new one, yes.
Oh, Fernando.
No,
Mike.
he retired already. Fernando retired, yeah. Yeah.
Fernando retired?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
We didn't know
For
that.
Tillman?
Yeah. Shocker.
Mike is still,
Replaced.
should still be there, right?
Yeah,
There's a new
Michael
person.
Rees, right?
Michael Ruiz is
Yeah,
at the,
he would be
at
a
Tillman,
good,
yeah.
if you can reach out and just talk about this so that, we all know what we're doing around that same area.
Sure.
Okay, thank you
Plus,
so much.
it's also still a feasibility study that we're discussing today, right? That to approve that feasibility study that this consultant is going to do, so it's still open.
That is correct.
So that they can talk.
Yeah, it's a good time.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
perfect, thank you. Okay, have we voted on this? We haven't voted on it, right? Okay. Just got caught up on this. Okay, we will get you out on your way. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve item number 13?
So move.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Dr. Campos is the first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Commissioner Reyes to move item number 13 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. That's an aye. Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Have a good rest of the day. All right, colleagues, but Al is up in the next one too, right? Okay, so you could just stay there because we'll take it now. This is Al. See why he's a celebrity? He comes and knocks 3 down. All right, Mr. Albazi, this is item number 14 in Council District 5 for an AFE precision concrete cutting. Bureau of Street Services and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $60,000 to encumber funds to pay for the uneven sidewalk repair project in Council District 5. Authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Okay, Mr. Al.
I'll be really quick on this one. Okay, so CD5 is introducing a motion to hire this, to actually sole source this company, what is it called, Precise Concrete Cutting, Inc. So they have this proprietary technology where this machine just cuts through uplifted sidewalks horizontally, you know, at an angle, which leaves a very smooth surface, and it sounds like they're the only ones who have that technology. So CD5 is really interested in doing and pilot testing that going forward. The amount is $60,000. Funding is in place. They're transferring that to Streets LA to hire this outfit, this company. Streets LA is executing a letter of agreement that was reviewed by Mr. City Attorney. And as soon as the board approves this AFE, we will proceed.
Okay, very nice. Any questions, colleagues? Dr. Vice President Villegas?
Thank you for your report. Is the $60,000 coming from CD5?
It's coming from a trust fund. It's called, there's no way I could remember that, Avenue of the Stars Community Amenities Trust Fund 56C, through CD5.
Through CD5?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Good question, Vice President Villegas. Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 14 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos is the first by VP Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to approve item number 14.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this item forward forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bazzi, I think you're all done today, right? Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. All right, colleagues, moving on to item number 15. This is in our council district, an AFE for Momentum Solutions Team, LLC. The Board of Public Works and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $20,000 to encumber funding for contractual services related to climate emergency stakeholder engagement. The vendor will provide marketing and communication services to support the promotion of CMO's climate emergency stakeholder engagement programs. And this afternoon we have Ms. Marta Segura.
Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here. It's, basically we have the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office needs to audit and update its website. And I'm sure you guys have run into this quite a bit. You know, we run on a very much shoestring budget, and because we want to make sure our stakeholder engagement stays strong, we need plugins and behind-the-scenes background analytics for our website. And Momentum Solution has been our contractor from the very beginning. He created a really wonderful website. In fact, this is good news. This is side. The State Office of Planning and Research basically called me on the phone and told me that they want to use our website, particularly the heat relief information, as a model for their communications. So they're like, copying is a form of flattery, right? I'm like, yeah, it is. Thank you. But anyway, so I know Momentum Solution, and I recommend Momentum Solutions because they've really done a wonderful job with us and Office of Community Beautification as well. I think you have the scope in front of you, but just in case you don't. So of course, website audit, updates, and license renewals, website optimization services, configuring, integrating analytics, reviewing the console, page speed, et cetera, to keep it optimal and easier to use, especially since we refer to it when we have our events, when we have announcements of other kinds, we refer people back to our website so that they can get more in-depth information. For example, for our heat relief campaign that's coming up, we're going to connect them to our website so that they can get extensive information on how to protect themselves from heat. Brand development and marketing, that just basically means we're going to continuously try to integrate our visuals with the city's visuals to make it more integrated. That's it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Segura, for that. I do appreciate the integration of our city logos, our board logos, and everything that reflects. It is still a city website, so thank you for that.
That's right.
All right. Any questions, colleagues? Commissioner Reyes.
Just for clarification, will you be including in the scope, like database dashboard that other cities or our own, within our city, if our constituents want to see more information, will that be part of the scope of this contract?
We currently integrate other city links and resources,
Okay.
but we can make it a much more intentional. So if there's, maybe we can do a survey, of all of the other climate and related operations at the city to see what kind of fits within the context of what we do. But if you have specific recommendations on links that you think should be there that aren't, I'm more than happy to include them.
Yeah, my interest is mostly our data. So we're transparent. Whatever data we have based on our surveys or our research, or if there's anything that we have from the community, that will be part of this, website. For
Yeah, all of
transparency
our
purposes.
Climate Equity LA series data and our focus groups is already rotating into our website. So once we're done with the focus groups we did this year, for example, in that report, we're going to include that. When we're done with the Climate Equity LA series, we'll include the reports and analytics from that as well.
And
So,
also our metrics, right?
well, yeah, the metrics from the events.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Of course, yes.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Reyes. And not to belabor all of this, but you will also have on your website, when the summer months come, the cool sites, or what are they called?
Our Cool Spots LA app?
Spots LA,
Yes, yes. Well, when we launch on May 24th, I should probably commercialize. We're having a launch for our heat relief campaign on May 24th. We're going to have what we're calling a heat safety kit. And it's going to have all the links throughout the city that people need in order to stay safe for the summer. So not just what we've created, but what the city also has to offer. So we're going to do that on May 24th. And in addition, we're launching a campaign, not just on social media. We're engaging community partners to help us disseminate and distribute the information. And we have a very extensive list of allies that are willing to also share this information. In fact, we're working with the LA Regional Climate Collaborative in order to do that. And many, many others, some of which you'll see on our press release.
Yes, I'm ready looking at it. Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns, or any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 15 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos is the first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 15 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Thank you
Great.
thank you so much.
Marta. Look forward to the addition on the website. Thank you. Moving on to item number 16, this is a communication stop notice to Hardy and Harper Inc. Hardy and Harper Inc. is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $15,990 with 78 cents for asphalt and paving work for Axiom Group in connection with the 6th Street Viaduct Mission Myers Roundabout project. And we do not have a speaker for that item. Is there a second to my motion to approve item number 16? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos is the first by me and a second by Dr. Davis to approve item number 16.
We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
And now do it forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 17 is also a stop notice for Robertsons. Robertsons is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $12,181 with 2 cents for work done for EBS General Engineering, Inc., an apparent subcontractor in connection with the Reimagine Ventura Project Phase 1, for which the primary contractor is Baker Electric, Inc. Is there a second to my motion to move item number 7 forward and forthwith?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos is the first by me and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 17 forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. We are done with our voting items, and we are now here to hear the oral report for the community level contracting update from all bureaus. This is item number 18, and it will go with, I'm actually going to start with BCA, because we have a special announcement, and then we'll go with street services, engineering, sanitation, and we'll end with street lighting. BCA.
Hi, good afternoon, Madam President, Commissioners, and everyone. My name is Jessica Lopez, and I'm here representing the Bureau of Contract Administration. A little bit about what our team has been doing with community-level contracting. So currently, BCA has no CLC contracting opportunities at this time. We remain excited for the time in which BCA can directly award a CLC contract while still helping other bureaus shepherd their respective opportunities. Potentially, we don't have any upcoming either. However, we only currently do work with community-based organizations. And when there has been an opportunity to contract, we have contracted with small local vendors. This is in relation to our outreach programs that we've done, like Accessing LA, and those are the opportunities that we've had. Looking forward, internally, we are continuing to work with the other 4 bureaus with their existing and potential CLC contracting opportunities. We are still sharing our best practices and guidebook that we created to all bureaus and different departments to encourage CLC opportunities and also guide them in the process. We also have our checklist that we continue to share with the bureaus and the different departments in order for them to analyze and review any upcoming opportunity. And with this checklist, they can go over and say, we can or we cannot pursue with an opportunity because it doesn't fall under a CLC. So we have, are still looking forward to creating any other resource that we can to help guide other departments and other partners in this. We are also continuing to work with the Chief Procurement team to help them work to include CLC opportunities into the RAMP LA system. Externally, we are working with closely with two bureaus, the Bureau of Engineering. They currently have one ongoing opportunity that we are looking forward to having our most recent CLC program. So currently, BOE and BCA have worked with Merriweather and Williams to prepare contractors to bid for this opportunity once it is released, the Sidewalk Repair Program RFQ coming up. BCA and the Contractor Development and Bonding Program, led by Merriweather and Williams, are continuing to prepare contractors for this RFQ release, as well as building the capacity of contractors interested in doing work with city. M&W are continuing to provide trainings and programs to get contractors ready, including we just held our 2023 Construction Bidding and Estimating Training Academy graduation on April 12th. This was a 5-week training academy. From this and other trainings that we've had, we have 55 contractors interested already for this RFQ. And of those 55, we have prepared 34 contractors. They are ready to bid when it is released. We are really excited about the work that we have done with M&W and BOE to not only have the COC program be able to move forward and be released, but also our preparation of having small, local, minority businesses be able to be part of this CLC. Next, we have two potential opportunities with the Bureau of Street Services. This is the Maintenance of Landscape Median Islands and As-Need Haul Truck Program. BSS reached out to us and let us know that they put in a request for their 2023-2024 budget program for these two programs. BCA will be helping address any outreach preparation and teaming up with Merriweather and Williams to get the word out, and as well prepare contractors to bid once this can move forward, once it is able to. In regards to other bureaus, we are still working and talking to them to identify any more contracting opportunities, but we are really excited about the one that we are going to have done with BOE and the two potential that we just identified with BSS. That is all I have for my report on BCA. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lopez, for your report. Any questions for BCA? Commissioner Reyes?
Just want to thank you for taking that initiative. I know in my conversation with John Reamer yesterday, that was discussed as well. So taking that opportunity and using the Small Business Administration, our training, and really reaching out to our smaller businesses will help make the CLC more accessible to them as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I did want to say that is actually the highest amount of contractors that are ready to bid that we've been able to have leading up to any of the CLC programs. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Raul?
Thank you, President Garcia. This is, and Commissioners, good morning, almost good afternoon. Thank you for just taking a moment. This is a slight commercial break from CLC. I just wanted to recognize Jessica Lopez. You know, one of the things that we've been doing in the Bureau and all city departments really, focusing on hiring, but also employee development. And, you know, sometimes one of those consequences or downsides is we try to give people more experience, even though they're really good at doing what they're doing now, right? And Jessica is one of those. She's going to be moving over to help with another important endeavor, Fair Work Week. But I did just want to recognize her work in front of you all because I know she's worked so closely with all of you over the years with implementing things like Accessing LA and CLC. And she's done a lot, whether it's, you know, the high-level policy or even the nitty-gritty of making sure the Zoom works for Accessing LA and those things. So I just wanted to recognize her, thank her for her work, and you'll still be seeing her, but in a different capacity. So thank you for taking a moment to hear me out.
Thank you, Raul.
Congratulations, Jessica.
Yeah, that was, thank you, Raul, for coming up and, making that a point. We really appreciate that as the board when we get told, folks are leaving, then we reach out to Jessica and she's like, I don't do that anymore. And so it becomes cumbersome. But I really appreciate you coming and taking the time of recognizing Jessica's work. And Jessica has done a lot of work around our Accessing LA events, and she is definitely prime and center on that. Every year we've done them, at least for the years that I've been here now, 6 years, we have been doing Accessing LA event, and Jessica has been part of it. And I know you also work very hard with the Small Business Academy and the community level contracting. So Jessica, we're gonna miss you on this end, but we are excited for you on your other end, and we hope that you also will thrive there. Now we hope, we know you're gonna thrive there as well. And whoever you put on this end, Raul, we're looking forward to working with them as well, because they're very integral to the work we do on a daily basis. So thank you, congratulations, well deserved. And again, it's always hard to say goodbye to those good ones that are leaving us, but it's another opportunity for somebody else and for yourself, Jessica. So have a good new learning experience in what you're gonna go do. You're welcome, very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raul, for making it a point. I appreciate that. All right, thank you, BCA, for that. Street services?
Good afternoon, President Garcia, Board Commissioners, representatives and staff. Martha Iñiguez, representing the Bureau of Street Services. On our report, the first 4 contracts are for various contractors for the maintenance of landscape median islands. They expire this year on October 5th. We are currently drafting requests for bids on these. The next item is for the freeway off-ramp closure services contract with Sterndal Enterprises. This is a 3-year contract that will expire in August of next year. The last item is the as-needed haul truck program. These contracts are due to expire this year on June 30th. We continue to explore and analyze the options on the future of this program, including potentially releasing a new request for proposals for hauling services. We continue to have 2 potential CLC opportunities. The first is for the sidewalk and park vending outreach and education. These 5 contracts are currently pending mayoral ED3 approval. The second potential CLC opportunity is for the maintenance of unimproved median islands. If funding is obtained, we shall begin the process to open a CLC opportunity. We continue to evaluate future contracts for potential CLC opportunities as they come up and as we renew new contracts. That concludes my report. I can answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Iñiguez, for your report there. Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you for your time.
You too. BOE? Mr. Cessnan, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon. Ray Season from Project Awards Control Division at Bureau of Engineering. I'm here to report for our community level contracting for the period of January 1, 2023 to March 31, 2023. For the reporting period, our sidewalk division issued 2 contracts for their small sidewalk contractors. One to Alameda Construction for $80,924, and one to Clay Reed DBA Access Construction for $91,440. For the next quarter, from April 1 to June 30, they anticipate to award 4 contracts to the small sidewalk contract. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. Moving on to Bureau of Sanitation.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Commissioners, Dr. Campos, Mr. Jordan. John Patterson with LA Sanitation Environment. Very short report on LA Sanitation's community level contracting. Unfortunately, we only have one existing opportunity for CLC contracting, currently pending award or review and award, evaluation and award. It's our RFQ for landscaping and site services for LA Sanitation's facilities. We received 7 proposals for that. For both large work packages and small work packages, so we did break that up to facilitate the CLC program. And again, that is currently pending award. We are hopeful that we will have it before board next month for actual award. So we're getting very close with that. At this point in time, because it's still pending award, we do not have any breakdown of percentages or anything like that. We'll be able to get those numbers for you as we move forward with that. As to date, and as we continue to move forward, LA Sanitation is evaluating our work opportunities. We're meeting with our project managers, determining whether or not the feasibility of breaking up their opportunities into smaller contracts that we might be able to unbundle in order to facilitate the CLC. We don't have anything yet that has met that criteria. To date, it's easier to get everything done sometimes with a large prime contractor versus trying to break everything up. It's not feasible with some projects. However, we are still continuing to move forward with that, and we are hopeful that we may have some future projects that we may be able to unbundle and make available for a CLC. That concludes my report. Welcoming any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Patterson, for that. Give me a second. Any questions to the Bureau of Sanitation? Hearing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a
good rest of the
wonderful day.
You too. And NBSO, Mr. Assad Al-Najjanir. Of course. We'll end with you.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, commissioners and colleagues. I'm Assad Al-Najjar. I'm presenting on behalf of the Bureau of Street Lighting the community level contract quarterly report for January 1st, 2023 to April 30, 2023. At this time, we have 2 projects for a total of $138,750 with Servitec Electric Inc. The first project is the Vision Zero bus stop security lighting, segment 1, which will install 12 new security lighting for 6 bus stops. Total value $68,530. The second one is the Vision Zero bus stop security lighting, segment 2, which will install 28 new security lighting for 13 bus stops. Total value $70,220. When we did the Vision Zero outreach for the segment 1, none of the contractors accepted, and they all declined except Servitec, so they were awarded and they accepted the job. When we reached to do segment 2, we placed Servitec at the bottom of the list and reached out to all the contractors. However, all contractors again declined and Servitec accepted the job. At this time, segment 1 and segment 2 are in construction. Segment 1 is almost 70% in construction, and segment 2 is almost 85%. However, we're expecting completion by the end of this week for both segments. Thank you.
Thank you, Assad. Any questions to Assad? Vice President Villegas?
Thank you, and thank you for your report. I'm encouraged to hear that Servitec is doing well. Seems like they're on a better footing and have a better understanding of the process that the city, entails and payments and things of that nature. So I'm glad that, they are still servicing the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Any other questions? Assad, I would really recommend that you guys go back to your list and survey the other contractors to see why they're not submitting any proposals or why they're not, coming forward. It sounds like although Servitec is now doing good, and, you know, it sounds, I haven't heard any concerns around them thus far for the second round of their contracting with us, but it concerns me that we didn't have more bids coming in.
Right. And actually, this morning, before I come to the meeting, I had a brief discussion with the division that handles these contracts, and we intend to sit with Fabian and Megan to discuss the unit prices and the scope of work, and this way we encourage more of the companies on the list to bid and be involved with the future projects.
Yes, please. I would strongly recommend for BSL to do that and take a moment to just figure out how we can get more responses.
Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Thank you, Assad. I appreciate you coming in and waiting all this time for your report, but it was well worth it.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
You too. Okay, Dr. Campos, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, you have.
Great, colleagues. It is now 12:35, and this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Enjoy Mother's Day.